They gave us 6 hours to change our minds. That was the protocol. 6 hours at the border marker, engines dark. All hailing frequencies broadcast on the standard Conclave band. Announce intent, await acknowledgement, proceed only on silence. Silence being interpreted, per the Charter of Engaged Passage, as neither welcome nor prohibition. 6 hours of no response from the humans. 6 hours of nothing but the low crackle of a star 2 systems distant and the sound of my own crew breathing in the dark of the bridge. I gave the order at the 6-hour mark. I want the Conclave to understand that. I followed every protocol, every clause. I was not reckless. I was not arrogant. I was a fleet commander with 43 years of service and a mandate signed by 9 of the 11 sitting archvoices, and I gave the order by the book, and I have spent every year since asking myself whether the book was the problem or whether the problem was something the book was never written to address. The reclamation fleet numbered 31 vessels, 2 Vethaki dreadnoughts, 8 line cruisers, 14 support and logistics ships, 7 fast intercept scouts, 4,211 crew. I had trained with many of them. I had promoted some of them, the intercept commander on the Udrin Vel. My ship's namesake, a coincidence I'd always considered lucky, was my former navigation chief, a Vethaki named Durasoeth, who had served with me across 11 postings, and who laughed too loud at poor jokes and kept a pressed cutting from a homeworld tree behind his station console. I want the Conclave to understand the scale of what I am describing. We crossed at 0340 local fleet time. The scouts went first, as protocol demanded, fanning into the target sector on 3 parallel vectors. Standard deep penetration spread. I watched the telemetry on the bridge display. 7 bright points moving into the dark, their transponder pulses steady and sharp, each one a crew of 12. Each one a name I could have read from a roster. The first scout went quiet 11 minutes after crossing. No explosion signature, no debris field, no distress call, no emergency burst transmission, no automated relay of hull breach data. One moment the transponder pulse was there, regular as a heartbeat. Then it was not. The display showed the absence the way a room shows the absence of something that was always on a certain shelf. Wrong. Immediately, without explanation. I told myself it was a sensor fault. The second scout went quiet 4 minutes later, then the third 9 minutes after that, and the fourth before I had finished reading the report on the third. My bridge crew did not speak. They watched the display. I watched them watching it. Durasoeth's intercept ship was the 8th to go dark, and when his transponder cut out, I heard the navigator beside me breathe in and not breathe out for a very long time. 22 minutes after the first crossing, all 7 scouts gone. No weapon signatures detected on any passive sensor in the fleet. No energy discharge consistent with any weapons platform in the Conclave registry. No debris, no signal. The sector ahead looked exactly as it had always looked. Unremarkable, quiet. A scatter of mid-sequence stars and the ordinary dark between them. I ordered the line cruisers to hold position and dispatched 2 dreadnoughts forward on a retrieval vector. I want the Conclave to understand, was still following protocol. Retrieval is the prescribed response. You do not abandon the forward element, you go after them. That is what the book says, and that is what I did. And the dreadnoughts crossed the marker, and their transponders held for 19 minutes and then went out together, both of them simultaneously, as if something had been waiting for them to arrive in the same position before deciding it was finished. I sat in my chair for a long time after that. My communications officer asked me for orders. My tactical officer asked me for orders. The fleet outside was waiting. 4,000 and some were already gone. And I sat in my chair and tried to make the display mean something other than what it meant. And I could not. The thing I want the Conclave to record, not as excuse, not as mitigation, as the simple truth of the matter, is that there was nothing to retreat from. No enemy fleet, no engagement, no hostile act we could point to and say, there, that is the weapon, that is the force that took them. The sector was silent. It had always been silent. It received us, and it did not give us back, and there was no mechanism I could name or target or answer. I withdrew the remaining fleet across the border marker at 0612 local time. We spent 11 days at the border transmitting retrieval requests on every band. including 3 frequencies the Conclave had designated for emergency communication with human-controlled systems after the passage accords. 11 days, not one response, not one acknowledgement. The transponder signals did not resume. No wreckage drifted back across the marker. The sector continued to look exactly as it looked before we had sent 29 ships into it. Quiet, unremarkable, indifferent. On the 12th day, I logged the fleet status as total loss and turned for home. I testified before this body once before, in the immediate aftermath. The Conclave voted then to classify the engagement as a navigation anomaly pending further review. I accepted that designation. I was wrong to accept it. And I am here now because the review period has lapsed, and I will not accept it a second time. What I am asking the Conclave to record is not a navigation anomaly. What I am asking you to record is this. 31 Vithaki vessels entered human-controlled space under full patrol charter with peaceful retrieval intent and did not return, and the humans did not fire a single weapon to achieve that outcome. And we do not know what they did instead. And in 43 years of service, and 30 years of thinking about those 11 minutes of sequential silences, I have not been able to construct a theory that does not terrify me more than the silence itself. Do not send a fleet into human space, not because the humans will destroy it. I cannot tell you they will destroy it. I cannot tell you what they will do. I can only tell you that 31 ships went in, and the space on the other side looked exactly the same afterward as it looked before. 4,211 of my people are somewhere inside that quiet, and I have heard nothing from them since. The sector does not look like a graveyard. That is the part I cannot explain to people who were not there. It does not look like something terrible happened. It looks like nothing happened at all. Like the fleet simply ceased and the space moved on without registering the loss. I have tried to find the right word for that for 30 years. Closest I have come is this. It looked patient. The sector looked patient. Like whatever had received us had always known we would come, and had been in no particular hurry, and was in no particular hurry now. The Conclave will do what it will do. I am an old commander with one remaining thing to do, is to stand in front of this body, and say clearly, what I should have said 30 years ago, when they offered me the navigation anomaly. Designation and I was too tired and too broken to refuse it. There is no anomaly. There is only a border, and the things that crossed it, and the silence that has held without interruption ever since. I am finished. The testimony stands. Whatever the Conclave votes today, I ask only that this record be preserved intact and read full to any species that petitions for passage into that sector. Read in full, summarized, not softened, not filed under anomalies pending review. Let them hear it in my words. Challenge, let them discuss for themselves whether silence is an answer.